So, welcome to part 2. We'll start with the evaluation of the position. In this position, black is clearly better because he has his rook and bishop in more active spaces than white's rook and knight. In fact, his knight's kind of offside, his rook is sort of misplaced, so it's not really sure how white's pieces are functioning right now. His pieces seem to be not cooperating very well, and they're not very coordinated at all. Moreover, white's pawns are very scattered. These look like almost 4 pawn islands. I guess these 2 pawns don't count, but even so, white's pawns are mostly isolated, while black mainly has 2 pawn islands, which are very close to each other and can easily be protected by his own king. So no doubt here, black is definitely doing better. So after knight takes a5, black here was able to take another pawn on g2, so material is no longer equal actually. And after knight to c6, black defends his pawn with e5. So now white tries to promote his own pawn, but after rook to c2, knight to e7 check, king f7, and knight d5, rook to c8. Black also did another retreat for kind of no reason. Instead, the better idea here was to play the move rook to c4, and if white plays the move a5 to try to get out of his rook's attack, then rook to a4 wins that pawn and the game. However, rook to c8 is not the best idea because he misses the tactic. And now I get to play the move rook to f1 check, forcing black's king back onto g7, further away from the a-pawn. So after king to g7, I play the move king to b2 to get my king closer to this pawn in order to help it maybe advance as much as possible. So king to b2, rook to a8, and king to a3. So now the king isn't fully supporting the pawn. Black plays the move g5, and he wants to create his own pass pawn. White doesn't really have a choice, he has to take. And now after king to g6, white decides to get greedy. So I play the move rook to f6, the idea being that I want to take on d6. But the correct idea here is actually just to play the move king to b4. See, this pawn here isn't that valuable, it's not going to really do anything. But this pawn here, if I can get it far enough, it can actually become quite a menace in black's position. So it's more important to me to take this time, not to win the pawn, but to advance my own pawn. So if I play king to b4, if he takes on g5, I can start already with a5. If black gives a check, okay, I can move to c3. And if he gives another check, I can go to b3. He can't check me forever because, after all, black's trying to win here. If h4, then I can play the move rook to g1. The bishop's in trouble after knight to e3. So if he doesn't play that, though, I can eventually just continue to advance my pawn and hopefully eventually have some chances at winning material using this high advanced pawn. But instead, I played here rook to f6, trying to win some more material, or to at least break even. So rook to f6, king takes g5, rook takes d6. Yep, I'm just being too greedy here, and I'm trying to keep the material balance as long as possible. However, after h4, knight to e3, h3, and knight to f1, it seems like I've actually temporarily stopped his pawn from moving. So material right now is equal, and his pawn here is stuck, so it looks like, oh, everything's fine, right? Well, wrong. That's the easy answer. Here, black actually has an easy way to win. Now, what black needs to do here is just to play the move rook to f8. He's attacking my knight, and I have to go to h2 in order to stop the pawn from moving. So now, obviously, logically, black plays the move rook to f2. The idea is attacking my knight again. So rook to f2. And now, if I take on g4, his king takes on g4. It seems like this pawn is much farther than my pawn, so it seems like black should definitely win easily. However, after king takes g4, I played the move rook to h6 to try to stop the pawn as best as possible. And my opponent here decided to play the move h2. So I follow with a5, seeing that he can't really promote. And now he missed the easy win. If you want to pause your video, you can pause it right now to find the best move for black. So the correct move was to play the move rook to f3 check. After rook to f3, king here, then rook to h3. My rook's path guarding the h-file is blocked, and now he can play the move h1 as soon as possible. Instead, he missed this idea, and he played the move king to g3. So now on the 49th move, I played on the 50th move actually, I played the move a6. And here, black played the move rook to f1, thinking, oh, it's easy. He can just play here, and then promote his pawn, and if white plays over here, then he can just come in over and skewer. So if you want to take a moment to think about what white should do here, you can once again go ahead and pause your video. It turns out here that white can actually have perpetual check. So here, white plays the move rook to g6 check. And if black plays the move king to h4, rook to h4, or rook to h6 forces the king back to g3. So if he plays the move something like, after rook g6, if he plays the move king to f3, then after rook to f6, king to g2, rook takes, king takes, and a7, it turns out that after queening and queen, black can't come back over here and take white's queen because this pawn's in the way, and he can't come over here and skewer white's king and queen because the king's in the way. So it turns out that here in this queen endgame, the game is an absolute draw. So since black's king can't go into the f-file because of the skewer problem, and he can't really go on the h-file because he'll just get chased back, essentially white here has an opportunity for 3-4 repetition, giving a draw. But once again here, I thought my opponent was too strong, and I didn't think that there was any hope for my position, so I kind of just played what I thought was just a normal move. I played the move king to b4, letting him get the queen, but then obviously this is just an easy win for black. His rook is able to catch my pawn, and I resigned, since black will eventually win this game up a rook. So you can see that there's two opportunities. First, I had an opportunity to win a pawn in the opening, which I didn't take because I overestimated my opponent's bluff. Second, I also overestimated my opponent's position at the end. I thought he was definitely winning without any chance for myself. So in that case, I just didn't really see any other options for myself. I didn't go look for any of those options. And that's definitely a mistake because you should always be looking out for blunders in all stages of the game. So I hope you learned something from this game. And I think the best thing to learn is that you should have a fighting mentality no matter what time you're playing, what position you have.